we're going to be rolling in to Seattle.
Right.
I think we spend more time in Seattle than any other city because we start there. We have production rehearsals there, so that's where we put it all together. With light, sound, we put it together for the first time. We had sonic rehearsals for a few weeks. And now we'll have the whole production in Seattle for the first time, and that's always really exciting.
And what kind of set list are you kind of envisioning for this tour, and what do you have planned for us up here?
Well, I had to start somewhere. I think somebody asked me about if it were easier in 1992, and I said, well, yeah, it's a lot easier because you only have one record. You only have a very small catalog.
Right.
But if you're lucky enough to have 10 albums many years later, there are hundreds of songs now in the extended catalog over the years. And you have to make choices. You have to think, well, besides some of the new songs that I felt needed to be there, it was difficult making choices.
Now, are there? I mean, obviously, there are the new songs, and you've got your hits. Are there some deep album cuts, or some songs that you haven't played for a while that you've kind of practiced and are thinking of breaking out on this tour?
Yes, there are quite a few songs that Matt and John had never played before. And so we looked back in the catalog and thought, well, that could really work with rhythm or with strange ambient sounds. Matt's got all kinds of things on this tour, and so does John, so that it's a dynamic show. We're covering songs that might only in the past have been at the piano, but we thought, well, if we arrange it this way, it could be a new kind of approach to the song. So there are quite a few of those that we've been working up to surprise people.
Okay, I know you don't want to give away any spoilers or that sort of thing, but can you point to an example of like a song that you're kind of flipping around and kind of doing a different arrangement on?
Okay, China, for example.
All right.
I only would play that alone at the piano, but now we decided to do it in a different way.
Okay.
So there are quite a few songs like that we're reapproaching. The ones that have really obvious rhythm on the records, those aren't so difficult to approach, but ones that, I would always play alone traditionally, but I wanted to have another perspective on quite a few of these songs, and that side of it has been a lot of fun.
And you are, on your last tour, was the first time you had brought out a full band in a while, and it sounds like you're doing that. I guess the question is, who are you bringing on the road with you this time?
It's just a trio this time. I figured we did the full band last time. I like every tour to be somewhat different. And the last tour, because of the characters, I think the show was extremely vibrant and very up. But I think this covers a wider range of the catalog, and this album that I've just put out, to me, it is not a concept album. It's a redheaded woman singing songs. And so I think that this tour is very song-driven instead of production-driven. Sometimes I really get into the production side of a tour, and I have a different hat on this time. My song hat's on.
Now, over what time period did you write these songs, and can you point to a starting point or maybe a track that set maybe the creative pace of this album or the tone of the album?
The writing came in a couple of phases. I see the record really in two phases. Mm-hmm. One of the phases was on the road during the last tour.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I write quite a bit on the road because there are triggers when you're exposed to so much information and you're traveling so fast. Things do happen. Your life does speed up. Events speed up. So you're not in a routine like you are when you wake up in the same place every day.
Right.
For example. And so I found that a lot of songs started to visit me on the road. And then once we recorded those, I came back to the States. I guess last July and August I was in the States. And I had run into Doug again. And quite a few things happened to me in the States. I had surgery and just upheaval events happened. And all these songs just came pouring out. And so then the second phase of recording happened after that.
I don't know. I mean, what was the first song? I mean, was there a launching point for this album, or was it just kind of like an album?
I'd say Div was a launching point.
Okay.
That's why I made it first.
Right.
When that came, I recognized that although it was a song form, how I was hearing it was not just traditional singer-songwriter, an organic kind of piece, which I think maybe California is more kind of classic Tori, organic songwriting. But Give has an electronic element. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I recognized that all the keyboard work that I've been doing out on the road and developing was going to be a big part of the sound of the record. So I'd been building sounds with Muse keyboards where if you mix a few sounds together, you create your own original sound. Mm-hmm. And I had started doing that. And that's what you hear on the record on quite a few songs. There are a lot of synthesizers on this record working alongside of the piano. I did that on From the Choir Girl Hotel. There was an influence of synths on that record, but not since that record have there been so many different kinds of keyboards mixed together.
And there's always a sense of, with a lot of your music, there's a sense of, that sense of character that comes out of the songs. And on your last tour, you even kind of channeled different characters or different personas as you went out on stage. I mean, kind of talk about that. I mean, where does that come from?
Well, the last record was about expanding the personality instead of just accepting that you're the same person year after year after year. I was really intrigued by taking on ancient female archetypes and expanding the person that I know me to be and pushing it into other areas. With this record, I feel like these songs are all sung by a redheaded woman. just on different days.
Okay. And I mean, in a sense, is this more of a personal record?
Yes. Yeah. I think that's fair to say.